well. He's not going to be playing in this first game, as we're going to see a bit of a peculiar setup actually coming out from Keyboard Rhythm.
Love it. First series of the day. Gates are now open. Who will get the miracle going?
Yeah, not a bad composition. Retribution Paladin's going to be effective against Windwalker, Death Knight. Looks like Balia is going to be trying to get some damage onto Rocket. Also, Elemental Shaman's very strong against Windwalker DK, so I think this is a strong comp coming in from Keyboard Rhythm.
I mean, this is the ultimate counter comp maybe for Windwalker Death Knight. We're going to have to see how favored it actually ends up being, as Lucy is trying to go after Burley in the back line, just trying to gun down that healer, but now counter pressure towards him. That Fist of Fury flying, it could immediately force a Divine Shield. It's a race to the finish, and Burley is actually going to go down very early on to Keyboard Rhythm's unexpected double Paladin Elemental Shaman.
Race to the finish line. It didn't look like the finish line was too far away from the start line there. DK Nation, take him straight there to the nation of Windwalker DK.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that works out for them. I'm curious, like I said, how can Windwalker DK Nation really find some pressure in this matchup? Keyboard Rhythm seems to have all the answers with this composition. Balia and Crota going to be pushing in right away. Incapacitate onto I Love Lucy, very standard play that's going to be proccing that automatic or trinket that the Retribution Paladin has.
Oh, interesting. So Windwalker DK Nation, they're going to go after the Elemental Shaman and grip the Holy Paladin in for swaps. Early on, Lucy deflected it by Sanking Borog out of the stun. He easily escaped. This is looking like a great start so far for Keyboard Rhythm, but Windwalker DK Nation are trying to turn up the heat, forcing Astral Shift from Rocket, dipping him down below half, but immediately recovering afterwards. Curious to see if Lucy's going to go after the Shaman. This time around, it looks like they're going after the DPS instead. We see an anti-magic zone as Procket retreats out of it. Death Grip mistimed. Procket was able to kite away before the double stun land. Procket doing a great job to kite, but he is running low on cooldowns.
Yeah, Procket's going to have a lot of freedoms from these two Paladins supporting him in this matchup. Now Balia and Crota forced to retreat and play a little bit defensive here, and this is not what you want to do against a Rep Pal. You cannot be grouping up like this. I Love Lucy's going to be able to get a whole bunch of pressure with this Hammer of Justice onto Burley as he gets lower. Gets a trinket out with the pre-Earthen Shield totem. That's a disaster for Windwalker DK Nation.
Yeah, Burley trades out Earthen Shield, and he actually hasn't survived the Crusade. If the UI is correct here, Lucy still has that massive damage cooldown. He could just run over the entire team like a freight train whenever he decides to actually use that. Borog, in the meantime, has a lot of cooldowns to keep his team going. Burley's going to be in a hard position. The next Hammer of Justice could close the match onto him, and Lucy's right on top of him. Curious to see when they decide to pull the trigger. There's the Hammer of Justice. Procket is still kiting in midfield. That Freedom Shaman with Ghost Wolf just running for his life. Going for a Stormkeeper, getting interrupted on it. Dipping dangerously low with an incap onto Borog. This could easily be a trinket sacrifice. Borog trying to be careful. A Death Grip into a double stun. This is a good setup from Windwalker Death Knight Nation. They've got the Touch of Death rolling. Strike at the Windlord. That's a lot of burst. Borog needs to be careful not to throw the game. They're all over him. He's going to Divine Shield and recover, but that was a great push from Windwalker DK Nation. They're at least staying in the fight.
Yeah, they got the bubble. They got the sacrifice. A lot of cooldowns from Keyboard Rhythm. Balia now turning his attention over onto Procket once again. Good pressure there. Burley's been doing a good job line of sighting, making sure he's getting those Earthen Shield totems down. Nice triple stun. That was very nicely done by Windwalker DK Nation, but Burley's the one in the Hammer of Justice who could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Burley with no trinket, trying to jump away from Lucy. Lucy going to come back and try and support Borog. Windwalker DK Nation, they're doing what Windwalker DK does best, training down the healer. Borog under pressure, trying to feed him back into the corner. He's going to be using that Blessing of Protection in line of sighting the purges of Burley. That's good positioning from Borog. Burley's trying to move in to purge it off now. He's getting aggressive, but that means they're going to triple stack for Lucy. He's going to be doing a ton of Divine Storm damage. Burley's trying to counteract it with the Ascendance as a race to the finish, as Borog actually doesn't have many cooldowns left. The Fist of Fury is going to connect, and Windwalker DK Nation might be walking away with a win. Borog trying to fake out 3 interrupts, but it's stunned. Secures him in place. Procket tossing out some heals. Will the support be enough? No, Borog will fall. And Windwalker DK Nation hangs in long enough to punch through, going after Borog in game number 2.
They Windwalker DK Nation prove you wrong, or will Keyboard Rhythm be able to take them down yet again?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to proper defensive cooldown rotation. It really needs to be Baruch has to save that Divine Shield, because like I said, when he doesn't have that available, Windwalker DK Nation can feel confident. They can go all in with the Touch of Karma, with the offensive purges, and they get a lot of pressure very early on.
We see Procket immediately kiting to the open space in the far left corner. This is going to be where he wants to play most of the game, so that the Death Knight and Windwalker Monk are completely exposed, and they can try and drag Burley into the open. Burley repositioning, though, not overextending at all. We see a Death Grip on Borog early on, but immediately sanked off, so Borog should survive this initial attack quite easily. Balia and Crota now immediately going back to the Elemental Shaman to try and reduce his damage by making him have to move. That Fist of Fury doing a ton of damage. Could be a cooldown from Procket early on, and he needs to be careful. They have everything available. Sacrifice will be traded out. Now Now they could swap off the sacrifice. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it just yet. We see Lucy making a swap. The anti-magic zone to protect Burley. No Thunderstorm, going to be cheekily knocking him out of that. He needs to deal with interrupts, though. He gets rebuked. There's still a lot of damage available for Lucy if Burley isn't careful. Cody tossing out that dragon for another swap to Borug.
Yeah, Borug's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He needs to kite away. Touch of Death is actually being committed. Incapacitated on the Procket. He trinkets to help Borug, so he's trying to do what he can to keep him alive. They really want to protect that, but now a Procket, there's no trinket, is going to be susceptible to those stun locks. I Love Lucy's going to have to do a good job with that Blessing of Sanctuary to remove the stuns incoming from Windwalker DK Nation. In the meantime, though, Balia, Croto, they're going to be rotting down low, but a nice setup coming in. Incapacitate into blind over onto Borug and Lucy. Procket's in a lot of trouble. Astral Shift's going to be used. Tries to kite away with the freedom. Blood Elf Silence coming in from Croto. Ultimately, Procket should be able to survive this, but there's really good pressure for Windwalker DK Nation.
Yeah, the pressure is still not subsiding as Procket dips lower and lower. Borug needs to do something to save him. Finally restabilizing. Balia going towards Borug, but a full Hex was sneakily casted onto Burley. Let's see if they can build any pressure off the back of this. It doesn't look like they can, and they're forcing Procket to always be in Ghost Wolf. He's not able to get enough damage out, and going after the Elemental Shaman means that sometimes the Ret Paladin can't keep up either. He can't make swaps to Burley. I think this targeting is really good. The swaps are really good from Windwalker DK Nation. They're dealing with what would be considered a counter comp quite effectively.
Yeah, Borug's going to be sitting very far away, just trying to free cast out these heals. If you look at mana, it's relatively even. Another nice setup coming in from Windwalker DK Nation. Lucy's going to be using the Sanctuary, but Borug needs to be able to kite away. If Balia and Croto can have uptime, it's going to be very difficult for him to keep himself alive. Manages to get behind the pillar. Croto going to have a difficult time reconnecting. Uses the Wraith Walk, though. And as you can see, Borug doing a good job with that Divine Steed. He's going to be moving away, making it very difficult for this Death Knight to catch up.
Yeah, Borug wants to make sure he's always in the open, far away from the Death Knight. That way he can max range the Death Grip and any potential swaps to himself. Borug moving in for Hammer of Justice. Croto, the primary target. They could easily get an Icebound Fortitude if they can do enough damage. An Ice Fury is casted, but they peel it away for a couple of seconds. I don't think they're going to have enough damage. We see Earthshock, Lava Burst on Burley. Takes almost half his health away. He's immediately back behind the pillar, licking his wounds. Procket manages to recover with a big heal from Borug. Mana completely tied at this point, but pressure in favor of Keyboard Rhythm as Balia dips below half. Croto getting close as well. See a Thunderstorm trying to knock him out of that anti-magic zone. Balia trying to do a setup with a paralysis on Borug, targeting down I Love Lucy, but it's not enough. Borug getting gripped into the double fist of fear. Good setup from Windwalker DK Nation. Borug forced to trade out Avenging Wrath to recover. Balia needs to be careful. He could bless your protection this Touch of Karma. Doesn't look like they're going to all in on that Touch of Karma. We see a swap now to Burley. A stun on the trinket. Earthshock to follow it up and a ton of damage. Burley on 10%, barely survives.
Yeah, Astral Shift Ascendant's going to be traded out. That was his trinket also, so big victory there for Keyboard Rhythm. Not too bad of a job. Balia rotting down low, and without that Touch of Karma, it's going to be scary for him as well. This large map is paying off for Keyboard Rhythm. Like you said, Sid, Borug, Procket able to just stand so far away from each other that it's so difficult for the Croto to get those same sort of grip setups that they were used to in the last game.
Good reaction from Balia, seeing that Borug was trying to sneak away and get a drink. Balia immediately moves in to deny that. We see a Paralysis setup now onto Lucy once again, but Procket delays it with it. But the Pillar of Frost could easily force Divine Shield on its own as Croto gets a solo Divine Shield. Good pressure there from Croto. Balia with great crowd control to allow that to happen. Croto now the primary target. Anti-Magic Shell is going to protect him. Lucy making a swap over to Burley. Hammer of Justice into Hammer of Justice, but he got a Healing Tide Totem down right before that stun, and the Healing Tide Totem supported him quite effectively. Burley doing a great job. Mana now, though, in favor of Borug as we move further into dampening. This large map is definitely paying dividends for Keyboard Rhythm.
That's the thing. Lucy now, no Divine Shield. The only thing that's going to be able to keep him alive from an offensive push is going to be either a Blessing of Protection or that Blessing of Sanctuary that Borug has available to him. Croto charging in once again. He has that big cooldown, that Pillar of Frost coming up in 15 seconds. Grips tries to go for the double stun. Unfortunately, they don't land it. And now Balia forced to port away. Has a Karma though, so should be fine in terms of defense. Lucy trying to reconnect now onto Burley, putting a lot of pressure. Touch of Death actually immediately committed onto Lucy as they try to put some pressure onto him. Gets the Blessing of Protection off just to remove that Touch of Death. Not going to be taking all that additional burst damage, and ultimately will survive.
Croto had to trade out his main defensive cooldown, Icebound Fortitude, in that last attack from Keyboard Rhythm, so he's not going to have that safety net to survive later on. Lucy is an exposed target as well with no Divine Shield from Croto's Pillar of Frost earlier. Croto not able to stay on target though. Lucy doing a good job to kite away. Procket as well. Lucy just needs to buy time. Borug definitely needs to try and get a drink. That's only significant way I see them winning this into a dampening game. Nice Thunderstorm on the Fist of Fury. They managed to force it Touch of Karma, an anti-magic shield. Keyboard Rhythm in the driver's seat. They've got a lot of cooldowns. It would be a throwaway for them to lose this at this point. I feel like Hammer of Justice onto Burley. Borog trying to move in and maybe chain that into another one. Second Hammer of Justice. Croto getting bursted down, and with no Icebound Fortitude, he's quite exposed, hanging on by a thread. Burley moves in. He's trying to be greedy. Will the greed pay off? He wanted to go for a Spirit Link, but he manages to hold on to it. Very greedy call from Burley, but he's going to hold on to the Spirit Link totem. That's their last line of defense.
Yeah, the AMZ, though, that's a huge defensive that they're able to pull out. Now if they make a swap over on the Burley, not going to have that available for them. You can see Balia and Croto trying to chase down Procket once again. Balia, he has no defensives available. He's a great target right now for Keyboard Rhythm as he gets a little bit lower. Good damage, though, over on the Procket. Barug into the Incapacitate. Uses a sacrifice on Procket, so that's going to break that. Now just continuously trying to keep distance, making it so difficult for Balia. Look at him, he's caught into the middle of the map, exposed. Big heals coming in from Burley, though, going to keep him stable until he can get back to his port. Behind the pillar, should be fine for now, but Burley's not doing good on mana.
Yeah, Procket's always switching to Burley when they manage to kite him in the open to try and lower his health, so if he Spirit Link totems, it's not really going to redistribute anything. We see a swap to Borug. Will he have the Sanctuary? Yes, Sanctuary instantly on Borug to get him out of that stun. Borug's actually trying to get aggressive. He's chasing down Burley for a Hammer of Justice. He gets gripped back, though, into a double blind. Procket all alone, trying to get some damage done. That's a lot of Chain Lightnings over on Balia and Croto, both exposed targets for about 7 more seconds. Balia's just going to portal back. Borug, the primary target here for the team of Windwalker DK Nation. He's trying to retreat away. He has that Divine Shield, though, that critical cooldown. They can make a push. Burley's got his trinket, though. It's still quite even at this point. Healer's reasonably close on mana, and this is a lot closer of a fight than I was expecting.
Yeah, poor Croto. Look at him. He's stuck in the middle of the map, trying to create something happen. Grips over Lucy, just Divine Steeds away right away, trying to slow down that drink. But Burley actually got a little bit of mana there. Not too bad. Leg sweep now over onto Lucy. Good pressure on him as he overextends. Try to slow down that drink. Windwalker DK Nation able to punish, getting that blessing of protection, but that was the touch of death, at least committed from Balia, so not the worst thing. We're at 15% dampening right now, and it's going to become so much more difficult for these healers very, very shortly.
And Borug used his Avenging Wrath, which is his biggest boost of healing on that attempt on Lucy, so it's going to be fading here shortly. They're crowd controlling him through it. He doesn't have a trinket. Lucy's in trouble. He's trying to kite into the corner. There's a blind to follow it up. If Croto connects, Lucy could fall. There's no more crowd control. Lucy hangs on by a thread. Borug needs to connect to heal now. Manages to save him. Divine Shield still available for Borug, though. If they swap back to him, we see the zone. Borug actually going to Blessing of Protection and run away. Both teams are running so dangerously low on mana. The healers are starting to have to deal with a high percentage of dampening. I don't think anyone's really going to go back to full HP for quite some time as Burley's the target. He's trying to retreat away. Spirit Walker's Grace to move and cast. Catches a gift of the Queen. Will Borug fall, though? He's overextended. He's trying to freedom back. He realizes it. He trinkets out of the stun. He needs to create distance. Nice hex on Croto. It's not actually getting dispelled. He's sitting through that full hex. That's going to lower their pressure for quite some time. Pillar of Frost is now available. Windwalker DK Nation need to get something done with this. Who can they go after? Divine Shield available for Borug. Divine Shield available for Lucy. It's looking good for Keyboard Rhythm in this position.
Yeah, they have that. They have all those defenses that they need to stay alive. Like you said, the Trinket Sacrifice will keep anyone up. Burley still has the Spirit Link totem. Unfortunately, he has no Trinket. Procket taking a whole bunch of bursts. Going to be trading out that Astral Shift. Windwalker DK Nation going for kind of a split strategy here. Lucy's going to be supporting Barug as he's chasing down Burley.
Procket
running away. Procket getting lower and lower, though. Barug trying to connect the heals. Procket goes into the full blind as they make a swap over onto Barug. Balia and Croto finally able to connect on the same target. Big pressure, but he kites away, gets gripped back. Divine Steeds once again. Now Croto's not going to be able to get back to him. He has to turn his attention elsewhere.
Croto
getting so low. Hammer of Justice onto Burley. No trinket available. Croto getting lower and lower. Fist of Fury stun coming in for Balia just to try and do anything he can to peel. Croto now just retreating behind the pillar, but unfortunately now without that Wraith Walk, not going to have the most.
Oh, Balia
nice.
Overextending. Caught in the Hammer of Justice. Burley dispels him, but into an Earth Shock. Touch of Karma is now just available. He barely catches the end of it. Portaling back out of line of sight. Burley's got no mana left. He's got a Spirit Link totem, but in dampening, he can't even handle it. There's a Stormkeeper. Procket's about to unleash a ton of Chain Lightning. They paralysis him. They're trying to buy time for it. Force the Divine Shield. There's the Spirit Link. Burley pops the Ascendant. They manage to pull the Divine Shield as both teams go all out in these final seconds. Dampening is so high at this point that neither team is really able to restabilize. Borug gets Avenging Wrath, though, in his back pocket. That allows him to immediately restabilize his team. Burley is the one that's on the back foot. He has to deal with the Death Knight with no Icebound, no anti-magic shield, a Monk with no Touch of Karma. Burley with 0 mana and 30% healing reduction. Can he pull off the miracle?
I don't know. Barug, though, getting a huge drink in the meantime when Lucy traded out that bubble, so a very good strategy. Croto getting lower, Balia getting lower, Burley into the full Hodge. Windwalker Windwalker DK Nation is in a lot of trouble as they get knocked out of the AMZ. Nicely done by Rocket. How is Chrono going to survive this one? Burley kites away, trying to get the heals out, but he is just no mana. Wind Shear connects, and ultimately, Keyboard Rhythm will take game number 3.
Paladin has a line of sight, so you can use that Hand of Sacrifice, Hand of Sanctuary, as well as the Shaman. Just having an...
basically in this game.
Swifty says you can't play on my skateboard ramp. Not here. Not in this elimination series. Will Keyboard Rhythm be able to close this one out and move forward in the tournament?
Yeah, Windwalker DK Nation looking to get aggressive very early on. Nice enemy coming in from Rocket, though, to slow them down just a little bit, force them to hit Lucy. You can see Chrono and Balia moving in position onto Rocket. Can they get the grip double stun? There it is. Sank's going to be forced out, and what it is for Windwalker DK Nation is they need to constantly be winning these little victories, getting the Sanks, getting the trinkets. If they can consistently do that, eventually they'll have a moment where they can push.
They got a really good crowd control chain on Borg that put him very far behind. He's trying to be greedy. He's so far squeaking away with the greed. They managed to interrupt the Stormkeeper. Procket trying to look for an ice ray. He gets wind sheared, and like I said, he's playing on the open side of the map, away from the skateboard ramp. And if he plays on this side, he could drag Burley into the open. He's got to pull a little bit further away. Looks like they actually want to get aggressive and push on top of Burley. Procket not really able to get there. Lucy's going to go on a solo mission. Can Lucy solo Burley? Will he react in time? He trinkets immediately, but it was at the end of the stun. Now gets interrupted on the heel. Lucy's looking for a solo kill. Rocket moves in to finish the job. Another Hammer of Justice. Burley can easily fall. He pops Ascendant's Astral Shift. They managed to pull way more cooldowns than they normally would because Burley wanted to be greedy.
Yeah, that greed is ultimately not going to pay off, but Baruch could be in a little bit of trouble as Crota and Valia connect onto him. A lot of pressure coming in. He's trying to fake cast some of the interrupts. Is he going to be greedy too? Trying to kite away. You can see Procket just spamming out the heals. He gets wind sheared into a Hex. Nicely done by Burley to deny some of that support, but ultimately Baruch's going to be able to top himself off. Nice double fist of Fury Stun coming in for Valia, forcing out the trinket, and Baruch still, although he's surviving, at what cost? I mean, Crota and Valia able to stay on top of him, keep up this pressure, and that's the Divine Shield.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just running down the Holy Paladin, trying to purge off the Blessing of Freedoms on the small map is going to be the best decision. I mean, they are Windwalker Death Knight, Vinruki. I feel like the healer is almost always a decent target for this composition, and they are trying to gun down Borog, but really having a difficult time staying on target. He's managed to recover. Now caught into a leg sweep, gets Sanctuaried out. He's got to create distance, but they're all over him. Burley is running down on top of him with Spam Purge as well. It's a race to the finish. Windwalker DK Nation are going all in on match point. Can they find it in time?
Yeah, not a bad idea, but Chrono getting low, trading out the guys beyond Fortitude. This is the problem when you leave Procket alone. He's going to be able to put out a lot of pressure. Baruch, though, in so much trouble, gets a Divine Light off on himself. Still trying to kite away, but with the way he's kiting, he's always in the open for Burley to get out those purges, get off those freedoms, allow Croto and Bally to have that uptime. But now Burley's going to be a little bit overextended as well, taking some pressure. I Love Lucy's going to be rotting down Rocket as well. You see Croto, he's just trying to solo down Baruch at this point. Balia with a nice split strategy, keeping everyone on the enemy team low.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Borog is having a hard time. He needs to survive for at least 10 more seconds. Can he keep his team alive for 10 more seconds? As soon as he gets to that window, he's going to have Avenging Wrath, but he might not make it. 8 more seconds. Procket with a knockback, but Croto was immune. Croto's right on top of him. Balia will reconnect. Borog needs 3 more seconds, 2 more seconds. That Avenging Wrath could top him off. Blessing of Protection, Avenging Wrath. He gets silenced on it. They purge it off. He might not be able to connect the heal. He's got big boosted healing, but he needs to get the cast off. He catches one. Lucy's now still low. Borog trying to work through it. He's managed to restabilize. He's managed to survive to critical mass. Lucy's now trying to make a swap against Death Grip, so far away from Burley into the paralysis. Good teamwork to get Lucy off of Burley.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. Burley now going to be completely free to get some heals off on his team. Doesn't have the Ascendance though, so Bali could still be in trouble. Does not have that Touch of Karma for another couple seconds. Forced to retreat behind the pillar, and now Baruch finally has a moment to breathe to top off his team. That was such a scary moment. They basically got every single defensive from Baruch at that point, so Lucy is the only one that's going to be able to support him with that Blessing of Sanctuary, with the Blessing of Protection. Bali, in the meantime, though, forced to trade out the Karma. It was a nice setup. Good CC on a Burley, nice damage on the Balia, and that's going to put Windwalker DK Nation maybe a little bit defensive.
Yeah, I mean, Burley needs to consider going aggressive with his team and using Trinket Spirit Link, because Borog is a very exposed target if they could just get on top of him, but he's very far away, max distance away from Burley. We see a paralysis as they set up on a Procket. No Astral Shift available. Will Procket be able to kite out and survive? Borog now forced to retreat or pull forward. He casts that Divine Favor. Big heal on Procket. Lucy getting cleaved down as well. Windwalker DK Nation are still putting up a great fight on match point. If they lose this, they will be out of the tournament. Keyboard Rhythm trying to stay alive. Crota rotting down. Balia rotting down. Burley with the Ascendance, but Procket gets Death Grip back. Double, triple Fist of Fury potentially here. Borog is stacked with the team. This is not where he wants to be. Realizing that, he retreats back away, separating away from the Death Knight, but he's got to deal with Croto. Croto could look for a solo kill. 10 seconds away from Pillar of Frost. Croto all over him. Balia instantly reconnecting. Borog with very little left. Lucy has a Blessing of Protection. They're not going to trade it out. Borog in danger. He could fall as Windwalker DK Nation DK Nation look to stay alive in the tournament. Borok caught in the full stun. He triggers at the final seconds, but into a Mind Freeze, into a Fist of Fury, and Windwalker DK Nation, Smork face, taking down the healer and staying alive, bringing us to a game number 5.
All tied up, and this game 5 is going to decide it. That tie last time, so that's some stuff to think about. We'll be talking about that in a little bit, but let's turn our attention to this elimination game on Ashmane's Fall. Keyboard Rhythm versus Windwalker DK Nation. Who will stay and who will go? It's time to jump back into these games.
Right, Keyboard Rhythm, let's see if they can keep the beat moving into game number 5. Windwalker DK Nation have been kind of building up their momentum in this series. They hit a shaky first game with Burley going down in a matter of seconds in probably one of our shortest games, and then they managed to improve and now setting up swaps towards Borog. So this is definitely either team's game. It's match point. One of these teams will be going home, and one of these teams will be trying to keep the dream alive.
And let's see how they can do it. Croto, Balia going to be moving forward to Lucy once again. The Incapacitate, that's going to activate that auto trinket from the red into the DR Hex. Very nicely done as they make their way over to Procket, trying to put in some early pressure onto him. Barug once again positioned very far away. Procket's going to have the benefit of all these freedoms from his team, from the Ret Paladin, from the Holy Paladin, which makes it very difficult for this Windwalker DK to connect.
All right, Procket getting stunned up early on. Bila is trying to bait some cooldowns with using Fist of Fury before leg sweep, and so far they're not really falling for the bait, which means Bila and Croto are going to fall behind. They have to trade out some initial defensive cooldowns. It looks like they may look for a swap. We see the Touch of Death committed. Croto's trying to make his way over, but he's not able to connect. Bila going on a solo mission to try and force a cooldown from Borog. The support of the Dragon will not be enough. Hammer just now into Burley as Croto falls behind. Remember, this is match point. You do not want to choke. You got to make sure you get that Touch of Karma out if you absolutely need to, as Bila is dipping low. Burley's trying to be greedy. He pops Ascendance, but ultimately will force the Touch of Karma, opening Bila for a kill in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. Lucy realizing Balia was the only threat there to Barug, held onto the Sanctuary, so I think that was a big improvement then that we've seen from this team from the last game. They're not wasting that key defensive. If they can get Barug out of stuns with Sanctuary, he will ultimately survive, so they can't be wasting it on little Fist of Fury stuns. Once again, there's a Fist of Fury stun. Lucy's going to be holding on to it, but maybe not the best decision as Croto and Balia are all over Barug. He's trying to get away out of line of sight, needs the freedom, uses a Divine Steed, but Croto's going to be able to reconnect with the Wraith Walk. Divine Light comes in, out silence. Very nicely done. Bubble gets traded out to survive. But Windwalker DK Nation obviously with a huge victory there.
Yeah, that Divine Shield is the most important cooldown for Borog to survive. He no longer has that safety net. They could easily gun down for him for the rest of the game. Let's see if they can stay on target. Bila Croto getting rooted up by Procket, but Procket getting hexed up by Burley. It's going to be a 3-on-2 with Lucy down in half and Borog the primary target. They can get a Divine Shield from Lucy as well with this cleave pressure. Hex now secured onto Burley. Unfortunately breaking to some damage. A Windshear on the off-heals. Borog needs a lot of help right now as the entire Windwalker Death Knight Nation rains down. Lucia protection traded out. Burley has to use Spirit Link. Burley's going aggressive with his team as well. It's all or nothing, Ben.
Yeah, it is. And actually, Barug gets interrupted now. Lucy in a little bit of a situation here. Finally, Balia able to reconnect to the full Fist of Fury stun. Lucy still at a line of sight. Hasn't used the Sanctuary, I don't think, the entire game. So really not able to support Barug. And ultimately, this could be the game. Oh! Holy Light at 1%. Holy moly. He will top himself off, but still Croto and Balia relentless in this assault. Touch of Death gets committed as well. No, nothing's going to be available to keep him alive.
Burley
taking quite a bit of damage. He leaps away, gets out of line of sight. Lucy charging in, though. Nice incapacity. Nice support coming in from Balia to keep Burley alive for now.
Lucy has to kill Burley right now. At this point, Borog is just so far behind. He might be able to kill him. Lucy's just raining down on the entire team, killing everyone. Anti-magic zone protects Burley. They grip in Lucy. They go for a double stun. They hex up Procket. Good cross CC for Windwalker DK Nation. Borog's got avenging Rat, though. They know that they have to kill Burley in the next couple of seconds. They have to kill him, or they've got nothing left. Will Burley fall to the pressure? He gets rebuked on the heel. Lucy's going all in. Divine Shield still available. I'm surprised not to see him maybe even just bubble out of that to do damage to Burley. He's managed to recover. He's back to full HP. Borog realizes that this all-in is over. He's ran so far away from the fight, knowing that they want to swap to him. Lucy has protection for him. Let's see if Lucy can support Borog to keep this game going.
Yeah, ultimately, Burley expending a lot of mana to keep himself alive there. There's the Incapacitate. Croto trying to get there with the full leg sweep. Balia has a Touch of Karma available if he wants to go all in this situation. Freedom actually gets stunned up there. Holy Light finally does get activated by Barug. A Touch of Karma, though, from Balia. They want to continue this aggression. Freedom kiting is the only thing keeping Barug alive. He has nothing left. Just kiting around in circles. Needs the support of his team, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it as Croto, Balia, and Burley charge in. Blusker protection gets traded out, but Burley not there for the purges. Baruch doing a good job with that line of sight.
Ooh, Burley jumped in. He managed to purge it off, but Borog gets away. A full hex snuck in onto Burley. Balia with no touch of karma and a Ret Paladin in his face. Burley opts to trinket out of the hex. Now he will not have trinket for a stun if they want to swap to him later on. Rocket's trying to jump in there. They've got to get something going. There's really not much left for Borog to survive. Another 50 seconds from that Divine Shield. Can he stay away from this Death Knight Croto long enough to survive? Croto trying to lead the charge. Pillar of Frost has been popped. Byla is also vulnerable. He doesn't want to risk his life to go after Borog in the open right now. And Keyboard Rhythm have actually managed to lock Windwalker DK Nation in a hard position. Will they just go after the Ret Paladin instead? It looks like they will. They're trying to get a Divine Shield from Lucy. Balia looking to solo force it. He's a couple seconds away. He gets it. Pulls the Divine Shield. Now Lucy will have to be careful. Procket is rotting down. Borog still needs 23 seconds. Will he be able to survive? Croto right on his back. A hex onto the monk. Burley can't dispel. They're counter pressuring Burley. They're trying to race to the finish onto the healers. Anti-magic zone gets knocked out. Burley's trying to retreat away into a hammer of justice. Judgment flies in. Borog is smacking him as well, trying to take him down. Will he find it? 3 seconds to Spirit Link Totem. Burley needs 3-2. He's got Spirit Link Totem. He can trade it out. Will he be able to trade it? Ice being greedy? Is he really being greedy? Spirit Link Totem is going to keep Burley alive, but Borog has bought time for his Divine Shield. Burley is now out of mana, and Windwalker DK Nation are running out of steam.
Yeah, that's a huge moment. Icebound Fortitude is going to be traded out to reset Croto's HP as well. Lucy is actually the pressure point in this matchup. Sacrifice is available for Baruch, but he goes into the leg sweep. Trinkets out of that. Still trying to kite away with the freedom, but he gets Fist of Fury stunned on it. This is very, very dangerous for Baruch. Once you're on to Lucy right now, we're at 5% dampening. Bubble is used by Baruch to keep himself alive.
Yeah, punch back. They get the Divine Shield. Now Borog is in a hard position again for another minute and 26 seconds. They've got Burley on the back foot for 10 more seconds. They have to kill him in 9 seconds, and then Earthen Shield Totem will protect him. Burley's trying to line of sight. Procket's trying to move. Chains of Ice are denying Lucy from really getting in there. I'd love to see some freedoms. That these snares are way too effective. They give Ride the Wind to Burley. Burley's trying to catch a lift across the map away from the Ret Paladin Lucy. He needs to keep his distance. Earthen Shield Totem is now available. He can plop that down to keep himself safe. Borog repositions. He knows that he needs to buy time for Avenging Wrath and avoid the fight. Maybe even look for a drink. If he can go back to full mana and buy time for cooldowns, it's going to put them in a great position. Procket with a defensive hex, instant dispel. Borog got some mana back on the drink. Windwalker DK Nation are even further behind. They're actually going after the Ret Paladin, trying to find an exposed target. They got his Divine Shield earlier. They're trying to make a move. Lucy down below, half Borog caught into a stun. He trinkets out. Byla now getting counter pressured. He trinkets. He rolls away. There's a lot of damage flying onto both sides as Borog is now the primary target. Blessing Protect. He needs to line of sight the purges, but Burley's right on top of him. And Windwalker DK Nation were running on fumes for a lot of this fight. A valiant game from both teams, but Keyboard Rhythm are going to have to pack up the keyboard and go home.
Yeah, that was definitely not the beat that they were trying to